Well, hey, Quest, good to see you. This is December 8th. This is a Tuesday, so we have reinstituted our Touch Base Tuesday and Touch Base Thursdays so that we keep you informed and up to date and included in all that's going on. Because we live in some challenging times, and so we're trying to stay flexible and deal with this thing appropriately. So I do have some really big news, in a sense, for all of us today, and then all the ramifications. So first of all, for several different reasons, we have decided to suspend our in-house services until the first weekend in January. Now, I know that's a big deal. We're going to miss a couple of Sundays here leading up to Christmas. We'll miss Christmas Eve, and we'll miss the Sunday after Christmas. So we're going to suspend those. One is because we have a number of people, key people, who have now been diagnosed as positive with the virus, and we are really concerned about the integrity of what we're doing, and are we endangering people unnecessarily. Also, the numbers of people infected in our community is rising significantly. Hospitals are much more crowded. Even ICUs, depending on who you talk to, are much more crowded. I did get one report that they are now using pediatric hospitals for the beds there for adults with this. And it just seems like things are ramped up a little bit. And it just seems like people are a little more concerned, a little bit more hesitant, and probably rightfully so. And so we've made a decision to suspend our in-house services for the rest of this month. Okay. Now, we are not suspending online services, so we will be doing something every week and even Christmas Eve for online experience. We are still in the middle of getting some live streaming worked out at our building, so we're not sure we'll be able to live stream, but we will post things at least for you to watch and be a part of, because we still want to keep our continuity, our connection, our direction in all that we're doing. So we just want you to know, though, we don't make this decision lightly. I don't like it at all, but I think it's right. And we've talked it through with some really key people, both medically and strategically for Quest. And our staff is in a full agreement on this, and so we are going to suspend it. So I'm sorry for that, but there are things we still need to focus on, right? So instead of, we want to help our continuity be connected, but if there were three things that I could encourage us to all connect to, stay focused on, engage. In fact, maybe to engage them more energetically than we normally do. And so here they are. First of all, prayer. Now, in times like this, sometimes prayer gets pushed off to the edge of our lives. And it almost seems crazy to pray. I have a hard time getting there. But I wonder if that's the most important time to pray. And that we would really be praying for one another, praying for our country, praying for our community. And even like we talked last week at the end of the sermon, is that Jesus said, I want to ask you to pray earnestly that the Lord of the harvest, that's Jesus, would raise up workers to go into the harvest, go do the work. And he tells us, instead of just going, he says pray earnestly that the Lord would do that. I think there's an implication there that it very possibly could say, hey, I've got to do whatever the Lord's calling me to do, to connect with people who have been hassled and helpless and they're harassed, to care about people in our community with compassion about all that they're going through and how unsettling all of this is. And so I want to encourage us to pray for people, pray for workers, pray that the Lord would be honored, that what he's doing, and I don't know all that he's doing, but he's doing something because he has allowed this. He brings both darkness and light into our lives, and he has a purpose for it. And it's always a good purpose. So I want to encourage us to pray. Secondly, is to keep working at connections. we call it community. But what we want to be is connected to one another. So if you're in a group, if you're in a BLT or a small group or a men's group or a women's group or whatever it is, I would encourage you, aggressively plug in, stay connected, expand those connections, deepen those connections. And if you're not in a group, I'd encourage you to get in one, or to just take the initiative to connect with people. And for all of us, that we would take the initiative to simply stay connected. Call, check in on, check up on, care for, see how people are doing. Take the initiative to do that. Okay? So we want to be praying. We want to have connection, which creates community, being a part of each other's lives. And the last thing is that we really would focus on Advent Conspiracy. This has a potential to kind of wash it out, all this disruption of our rhythms and schedule. But I wonder if maybe that's okay. But that we wouldn't forget that Advent Conspiracy is a focus on spending less and giving more, giving above and beyond what we normally do to some really profound projects. And so the projects that we've selected, 3 of them in Haiti, all of which touch incredibly important basic human needs. You know, the idea of water and even ice that would help sustain and helps food from spoiling. And the food program, the feeding program, where we feed these kids down on the Saline. These are basic human needs. And then the other project is being a part of putting together this training center in Lebanon for the Middle East in reaching people who desperately want to know Christ. And so I think that these projects are worth us kind of stopping normal activity and focusing on and saying, God, would you use us to make a difference? To touch a world in incredible need. And now the needs in the Middle East and in Haiti are somewhat different, but they're really profound. And they're connected to ministries that we're a part of. And so I want to encourage you, as we do this a little different this December, that the focus in your life would be on prayer, it would be on connections, staying connected, building community, and last is on Advent Conspiracy. So that's where we're headed. So thank you guys. We'll keep you up to date. Sorry for the difficult news, but God's in the midst of it, I think. And so let's trust Him and walk with Him and keep living out the mission. Okay? All right. Take care, you guys. See you on Thursday.